Number 8. Pacu fish. Believe it or not, the piranha that live in the waters of the Amazon River have a cousin. They're called the pacu fish. While piranha are feared for their aggressive natures, pacu fish give people nightmares for different reasons. First off, these fish are huge and are much bigger than regular piranha. Their length can be up to 3.5 feet at times, and they can weigh up to 88 pounds at points. Second, unlike their piranha brethren, these fish float more to the side of vegetarians, though technically they are omnivores. Yep, they usually only eat plants, seeds, and nuts that fall from trees for the most part, which brings us to the most unique and mysterious aspect of the pacu fish. If you were to find one of these pacu fish and look at their teeth, you'd be very confused because they look like human teeth. While piranha have sharp and angled teeth to work their way through meat and muscles, the pacu fish have more human-like teeth. Why? Well, it's because they eat hard objects like nuts and seeds. Thus, they use their teeth to break them down and get to the substance within. It's an interesting evolution, albeit one that has many people very confused as it looks too much like human teeth. There have also been very unique stories of these fish potentially attacking humans and biting certain regions, but these have been unconfirmed. That being said, they are known to have quite a bite, and thus they shouldn't be messed with. Even the locals who don't fear the legend about the pacu fish know that a bite from them can cause serious harm. Still, the mystery remains. Why do the pacu fish have teeth that look so much like a human's? Number 7. Zombie fungi. The idea of zombies existing in our world by some event has long been dramatized in the world of media. But the sad truth is that there is a type of zombie virus right now that is affecting the wildlife in certain jungles. Except it's not a virus per se, it's actually a fungus. Yes, there's a fungi in the world that can turn living creatures into zombies. A well-known one is fungi within the genus Ophiocordyceps. This well-documented fungi has been known to take over the minds of ants, turning them into zombies that are literally controlled by the spores of the fungi. One of the first things the fungi will have the ant do is climb up to a high leaf or plant and then just wait there. Not do anything, but hold on to the leaf or plant. Then, once it dies, the ant will basically explode and spread the spores within its body to other ants, thus creating a zombie ant outbreak. Bleak? Yes, but it's also terrifying in how efficient it is, to the extent that there are fossils of zombie ants from millions of years ago, which goes to show how long this has been going on to some degree. This also obviously means that zombies have technically been around longer than the concept of them, or even before humans could ever even think about the notion. The Ophiocordyceps genus has apparently evolved over the years, which isn't uncommon for fungi, to ensure that its own lifespan matches or surpasses the host that it tries to inhabit. Though ants are the most documented insect to fall victim to this zombie virus, some scientists believe that spiders have also fallen victim to them. Despite the fungi being known, and despite understanding what they do, scientists do not understand how they're able to control the minds of ants like this, which means that something is going on inside them that science just can't figure out. While humans don't have to fear this kind of thing happening to them per se, it is something that is scary in terms of how long it's been around. Plus, with enough evolution, anything is possible. Fun fact, this type of mind control fungus was the basis of a hit video game, The Last of Us. Number 6. Corpse flower. You might look upon the corpse flower and think it's an odd plant, but nothing else. Yet, it's so much more than that. It's actually a combination of thousands of male and female flowers that grow together to form this massive structure. It's actually one of the largest flower structures in the world today, as well as one of the rarest in the world, which is why many were stunned upon its discovery in the jungle. The name that the flower has was given to it due to its smell. The corpse flower emits an odor that actually does smell like rotting flesh, but only when it's in bloom. Tim Pollock, outdoor floriculturist at the Chicago Botanic Garden, noted the following: "The smell, color, and even temperature of corpse flowers are meant to attract pollinators to help ensure the continuation of the species. Such insects who like the smell include dung beetles and flesh flies, and the plant grew to recognize that. But it also goes even deeper to ensure that the insects come. Corpse flowers are also able to warm up to 98 degrees Fahrenheit to further fool the insects, Pollock added. The insects think the flower may be food, fly inside, realize there is nothing to eat, and fly off with pollen on their legs. This process ensures the ongoing pollination of the species. Once the flower has bloomed and pollination is complete, the flower collapses. In terms of size, the largest corpse flower ever recorded was over 10 feet tall, though it's said it could be as tall as 15 feet. The leaves of it can be 3 feet long. That being said, it can take up to 7 years for them to bloom, and some don't bloom for decades. Truly an oddity of the plant world, and one whose mysteries might never be solved. Number 5. Congo's carbon bomb. The jungles of the Congo have been studied for many years, and one of the most shocking finds was not made in the trees or even the plants. It was within the very soil that people were standing upon, because within the soil was a carbon bomb, or more accurately, a large deposit of carbon that had sunk into the earth itself. How big is this carbon sink? 56,000 square miles, which in context is actually larger than the country of England. That's an incredible amount of carbon, yet it's actually not the biggest in the world. However, there is more carbon beneath the ground in this section of the swampland jungle in the Congo than there is in the natural carbon above it. In round numbers, there's about 30 billion tons of carbon beneath the ground in the Congo jungle, which is 16 times larger than scientists expected to find when they started their research. The reason for this large amount of carbon being below the ground is because of the ground itself. It's known as a peatland, which is famous for stopping decomposition part of the way through and absorbing the carbon that is left over. Add that to the 11,000 years that the peatland has been around, and that adds up to 30 billion tons of carbon. Number 4. The Stonehead of Guatemala. A massive stone statue was found in the jungles of Guatemala in the 1950s, and it stunned many scientists and archaeologists when it was discovered. The first reason for this was because the stone was not only massive, it was carved in the likeness of a face. But the face didn't resemble what humans of the area looked like within the area. It had very thin lips and a very large nose, and the orientation of a face was directed to look at the sky, which struck many as odd. What was tragic, though, was that shortly after the Stonehead was found, it was later destroyed, apparently by anti-government rebels. However, a picture of the head has been kept as proof of its existence, and documentaries about it have also been done, as well as daring to ask the question of who made it in the first place. Guatemalan archaeologist Hector E. Mahia was interviewed for the documentary and stated, "I certify that this monument presents no characteristics of the Maya, Nahuatl, Olmec, or any other pre-Hispanic civilization. It was created by an extraordinary and superior civilization with awesome knowledge of which there is no record of existence on this planet. Whether we find out the truth about the Stonehead is a mystery unto itself." Number 3. Swamp Ghost Plain. The thing about jungles that people forget is that they're so big and lush with vegetation that just about anything can get lost there. Even an old World War II plane from a very long time ago. But not just any plane, a B-17 bomber known as the Swamp Ghost. During World War II, the United States set up operations in Papua New Guinea in order to try and halt the Japanese advance, as well as have a base in the area to launch their planes and ships close to the Japanese homeland. This led to many battles over the island, where many planes crashed, including the B-17 bomber. Why does this matter? Because restaurant entrepreneur David Tallicat found it in Papua New Guinea. He had a penchant for collecting old warplanes, and when he found this one, he knew he had to have it. When he found it, it was nearly buried by the overgrowth of the jungle. The Swamp Ghost is now on display in the United States. Number 2. Amazon Stonehenge? Stonehenge is in the United Kingdom, but all around the world, Stonehenge-like monuments and areas have been found, including one in the areas very close to the Amazon jungle. One such place was located in Brazil near the city of Calçoene. This particular structure had numerous stones about 4 meters high and arranged in a circle, not unlike what the original Stonehenge was like. 127 of these blocks make up the circle, making many wonder what exactly the purpose of this Stonehenge was. Based on research, it's believed that the site was used for many purposes, including burials, ceremonies of various kinds, and even being used for astronomy. Research is still being done, but it's believed that it could have been made up to 2,000 years ago, which would make it long before certain settlers arrived in these areas of Brazil. Either way, though, this is a complex structure that many worked hard to make, and thus it will be studied until all of its mysteries are solved. Number 1. The Lost Tribes. If there is one thing that the world has admitted, it's that we don't know everything about the world. To that end, there are still some tribes of people being found that aren't modernized by the world, and in fact still live in the ways of the old, meaning the ways of using bows and arrows, spears, and living off the land. Over the past couple decades, many lost tribes have been discovered. Some look right out of a history book in fact of terms of their attire. One encounter featured a helicopter trying to make a map of the Amazon jungle when it came across a group of natives. They were so scared of the chopper that they began to shoot arrows at it. Another group was actually trying to protect its home, which was near a gold mine, and many were killed by miners trying to get to the gold. Who knows how many more of these pre-modern groups are out there living their lives without knowing that we're here? Given the various densities of jungles like the Amazon and others, there could be whole cultures that still remain hidden within the growth of the trees. Number 10. False teeth. Back in February 2017, on a peaceful and sunny day, an adorable puppy named Pandora decided to do what most dogs love to do: stir up some trouble and dig up some dirt in her owner's backyard. What Pandora discovered is hilarious and a bit disturbing: a set of discarded dentures that she was so fascinated by that she decided to try them on. The end result? A cute doggie that looks like she came straight out of Goosebumps. Pandora's owner, Lucas Alves, says he almost died from laughing when Pandora presented herself to him with a fresh new smile. The story started to circulate the internet, and as it usually happens, theories about the origin of the mysterious dentures emerged. Did the dentures belong to an unsuspecting victim who had been murdered and buried? Were the teeth possessed? Was Pandora possessed by the same insidious force? Whoa, 0 to 100 real quick. As Alves later explained, the teeth most probably belonged to an elderly couple who had been the previous owners of the house. There is no other explanation, he said. Well, isn't there? Is this just a mysterious occurrence, or is something far more sinister at work here? I guess we'll never know, since Pandora's owner decided to remove the dentures from her mouth and leave this mystery open to interpretation. Number 9. Antique church bells. Cults and their activities have been feared, speculated about, and shrouded in mystery probably since the dawn of time. Obscure rituals that might or might not have some real-life significance practiced by many cults have been a source of chills for many people, providing ground for many controversies surrounding anything that could be traced back to any cult-like practice. This is exactly why many shuddered with fear when a man from Czech Republic found 2 big church bells while he was digging up dirt in his backyard to install pipes back in 2013. Further investigation led to the conclusion that the bells had been around for about 400 years and stolen from a church 11 years prior. This left the man in question and the entire internet puzzled and bewildered. Was this the work of a sacrilegious devil-worshipping cult? Why were the bells buried? Was there an anti-Christian message behind this act? Could such a cult still exist and operate today? Many questions will be left unanswered, and many of those questions will probably inspire at least a couple of horror books and/or movies. Hey, real quick, if this is your first time watching Planet Explained, welcome. Give this video a like and hit that subscribe button for more videos like these. Number 8. A Cold War nuclear bunker. The Cold War era was a time period of intense mistrust and paranoia. Faced with an impending threat of nuclear war, many people sought to secure their survival, including building bunkers like the one that occupies the number 8 spot on this list. Zwick family from Neenah, Wisconsin, discovered one such bunker 10 years after they had moved into their new home. Until 2010, no one thought to open the heavy steel hatch and uncover the mystery behind it by climbing down and exploring it. Wait, I would open it right away. Wouldn't you? Apparently, it was an 8-foot by 10-foot bunker that the previous owner had built to protect his family. Floating in 5 feet deep water were boxed supplies by the U.S. Army needed to sustain a family for about 2 weeks. The supplies consisted of food, clothing, tools, flashlights, batteries, and medical supplies. Of course, many alternate theories emerged. Was this chamber just a product of one man's paranoia and delusions? Has anyone ever been down there before the Zwick family? Was it a part of coordinated bunker building throughout the country, deliberately hidden afterwards? In short, does the history of this claustrophobic chamber contain hints of governmental cover-ups or grand conspiracies? Many questions will most likely remain unanswered. Number 7. Unexploded bomb from World War II. A woman named Lulu Cirillo was enjoying her favorite activity, gardening, when she uncovered what she thought was just a rock, but turned out to be something a bit more scary: a loaded bomb from World War II. According to Cirillo, after she had found the device, she threw it across the yard thinking that it was just a rock, but later on took her suspicions to Facebook. She claims to have felt completely terrified after she had been warned that the peculiar object might be a bomb. Lulu had cleaned the mysterious object in order to be able to recognize what it actually was, and had even given it to her dog to play with, never suspecting it might be a bomb. She informed the police department later that she might be in possession of a deadly object. Authorities came and cleared the threat by detonating the bomb at the Weymouth beach. Cirillo claimed to be very disturbed by the fact that such an object could have been around her house, in her own backyard for that long, and that she felt really unnerved by the whole incident. I mean, yeah, and you let your dog play with it. Jeez. Number 6. Mystery object. What would you do if you came across a large, bluish, alien-esque looking object? That's the exact question Allie Huser and her sister were faced with. Preparing for a weekend fishing trip, they were looking for worms, but what they uncovered sparked their imagination and fascination with all things mysterious and unknown. Deep in the ground, they found a transparent, shiny, glassy object, something much more curious than they could have hoped for. The object was approximately the size of their heads and appeared to be part of something larger. A spaceship, maybe? A meteorite? An alien tracking device? All of these theories were quickly dismissed by experts. After all, the object wouldn't have been buried in the ground had it been part of a fallen meteorite, and would have probably had a darker outer surface, according to the leading expert in the field, Professor Phil McCausland. A retired teacher and member of the KW Gem and Mineral Club said that it clearly wasn't glass, quartz, diamond, or a ruby, and that he had never seen anything that big and bluish and beautiful. The Huser sisters said they would probably sell it for $1 million if it turned out to be something very special. As it turns out, it wasn't. It ended up being a piece of rare glass. However, many questions remain. How did it get there? Why was it buried? Who or what put it there? Number 5. Alien meteorites. The chance of being hit by a meteorite is extremely small. Chances of getting bombarded with meteorites 6 times are ridiculously small. However, in 2010, a Bosnian man named Radivoj Lajic, 50 at the time, claimed to have been repeatedly showered with meteorites by a mind game playing aliens since 2007. Belgrade University scientists claimed that the rocks that hit Lajic's yard were indeed all meteorites, but could not have explained how such a rare event could have happened 6 times to a single man. The emphasis in the research was even put on exploring magnetic fields around his house, looking for a plausible explanation instead of reaching for an X-Files guidebook. Amidst the accusations of being delusional, he remained firm in his belief that he was targeted by aliens and that the space rocks hit his backyard and his home village whenever it started raining. He even reinforced his roof with steel using the money he got from selling one of the rocks to a Dutch university. On top of that, he claimed that these coordinated meteorite attacks brought happiness to his family and that he had been planning to open a small museum. Do you believe that he's being targeted by aliens? Could this actually be a science fiction scenario where a completely sane individual is actually telling the truth? Too many questions, not enough answers. Number 4. Dead alien creature. Back in 2015, a strange occurrence took place in California. A woman had reportedly found what many deemed to be an alien buried in her own backyard. Pictures of a pink, slimy, and half-developed creature flooded the sensationalist media, and a frenzy of speculation about the creature's origin followed. The first picture was published on Facebook, then Reddit, and when mysterious stuff hits Reddit, you know that wild explanations of the organism's origins are about to overwhelm the internet. Some have called the creature an alien, a facehugger, the name of the creature from the Alien films by Ridley Scott. Others speculated that it might be a partially developed animal fetus, but the ever-so-restless keyboard warriors were entranced by the seemingly endless possibilities and explanations. The California resident who found the slimy dead monster, Gina Propanis, posted the images on Facebook in an effort to figure out what the mysterious thing was. She claimed to have heard something resembling a scream at 11:30 the previous night, went out and saw the creature half buried in her backyard. However outlandish some of the responses might have been, they did not drown out the more sensible ones, like the ones claiming that the creature looked like a deer fetus half chewed by a scavenger. Whatever it was, it's a pretty unsettling sight and a freaky mind-boggler. Number 3. Immigrant pliosaur bone. John Lambert was just a man trying to install a new garden fence in 1997. He is also the man who found a 250 million-year-old pliosaur bone. Working peacefully in his backyard, he suddenly struck a hard structure while digging, and instead of taking it to the experts to evaluate the 15-pound, he stuck it in his shed and forgot about it for the following 14 years. After that lengthy period of time, he remembered the mysterious object, retrieved it from the shed, and called the nearby museum to evaluate the bone. Everyone was shocked to discover that it actually belonged to a long-extinct pliosaur, a predatory sea creature that could grow up to 65 feet in length. According to the experts, pliosaurs lived in the waters around Africa, China, and Australia, but the open-ended questions remain. How did it end up in John Lambert's backyard? Life gets on top of you. Lambert summarized his thoughts on this creepy enigma that may never fully be resolved. And please, if you stumble upon a bone from an ancient seafaring predator, don't stick it in a shed and forget about it for a decade and a half. Number 2. Ancient human remains. Countless cautionary tales of living on top Native American burial grounds have warned people of possible curses that wreak havoc upon the lives of those that live on the land. A 9th grader, Ali Erturk, and his family won't be victims of any curses, hopefully. The 14-year-old boy was digging a trout pond in his backyard for him and his dad when he unearthed a 1,000-year-old Native American skeleton. When he struck the first bone, he thought he might have stumbled upon an animal bone, but as he kept digging, he essentially dug up an entire skull. The boy must have been terrified. Experts from the Utah Department of Heritage and Arts removed the ancient remains and kept investigating the site for archaeological clues. The fact remains, this must have been a blood-curdling event for poor Ali. What would you have done if you'd found skeletal remains in your own backyard? Would you be fascinated by the mystery or horrified and shocked by your discovery? If that does happen, just make sure to not disrespect what you've discovered. Number 1. An entire cemetery. Speaking of homes built on top of burial grounds, this is number 1 on our list. The creepiest and most mysterious thing found in a backyard. Imagine going about your day and planning to put a swimming pool in the backyard of your luxury condo in the French Quarter of New Orleans, knowing that your home was built over St. Peter's Cemetery, and then finding out that the cemetery actually dates back to the 1700s. Beyond creepy. That's exactly what Vincent Marcello did. He hired an archaeologist to perform a dig test and revealed this unsettling fact. The cemetery was said to contain 15 according to some sources, caskets stacked on top of the other before the cemetery itself was closed down. Marcello stated that he had been aware of the fact that the site had historical significance, and that it had previously been a cemetery, but had not expected it to contain human remains. According to the archaeologist Ryan Gray from the University of New Orleans, the cemetery was closed because it was overcrowded, without the possibility to dig anywhere without hitting on other remains. The fact alone is enough to give you nightmares. Not to mention the sheer bone-chilling factor of living the high life right above an 18th century graveyard. Number 10. Hyena. Let's start off with an animal that you probably wouldn't expect to be on this list: hyenas. There's a lot of misconceptions about hyenas. Lion King taught us that they laugh to mock their foes, or sometimes they can't even control it. But that's not the case. Rather, it's meant as both a warning and a signal. If you hear a hyena laugh, it's not amused, so don't chuckle back. It can and will attack you. And it uses its laugh to call in other hyenas to assist if necessary. They travel in packs that can be as big as 80, so you probably don't want that many hyenas after you. Especially because they're on this list for having some of the most powerful bites in the animal kingdom. They have extremely strong jaws. It has the greatest jaw strength in proportion to its body among mammals, which, when you consider the strength of other mammals, that's pretty impressive. How much power do they have in their jaws? 1,100 pounds per square inch. Wow. They can bite and kill with ease, and when they're in packs, they're very dangerous. Plus, with their speed, they can catch up to prey very easily, as they can run up to 40 miles per hour. It might be easy to make fun of the hyena for various reasons, or mock their interpretations in things like the Lion King, but make no mistake, they are dangerous predators and you shouldn't mess with them. Number 9. Grizzly bear. Bears are all over the world, and the world as a whole acknowledges the incredible strength that most species have. But the one humans usually stay away from the most due to raw strength is the grizzly bear. Not the least of which is because the grizzly bear is the largest bear in the world today, and it can weigh up to 1,500 pounds. Add to that, grizzlies are rather intelligent bears. They can get up things like trees, break into cabins and campsites, and they are fast enough to catch up to silly humans who think they can outrun them. Well, they can't. Despite their 7-foot length, these bears can run up to 35 miles per hour, which is good because they need to be fast to catch up with some of the prey they like to hunt, like buffalo and bison, or to catch humans whom they feel is threatening their family. Which brings us to their strength. Between their frame and their claws, they wield lethal power that makes them lord over every other single creature that comes into their territory. But let's not forget their bite strength, because their teeth can crush and rend flesh easily with the power of 1,160 pounds per square inch. This is why people are told to be very wary around grizzly bears, because they have a short temper and a deadly bite. Hey, real quick, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Give this video a like and hit that subscribe button for more videos like these. Number 8. Polar bear. So we don't want to mess with grizzlies. We also don't want to mess with polar bears. They may look cute and cuddly, and they seem to like Coke products, but beware. The polar bear has the greatest bite strength of all bears, at a power of 1,200 pounds per square inch. These bears are more than just strong bites, though. They can get really tall when they're standing on their hind legs, well over 9 feet tall, in fact. Not to mention, they weigh about 1,500 pounds. So why do they need this kind of massive bite strength? Well, because of the prey they eat in the Arctic Circle. They're known for going after seals and even walruses at times, both of which can be very hard to catch or put down because they can be huge. Thus, bite strength helps them in a major way. While it's fine to admire them, it's probably for the best you do it from a distance. Number 7. Gorilla. Primates of various kinds can perform unique feats of strength and skills. In terms of sheer size, the gorilla is the largest primate in the world, and it shows what it can do more often than you might think. Size-wise, they're impressive in every stat. They can grow to be 6 feet tall, and their arm length can be over 8 feet, while their weight can be between 500 and 600 pounds, depending on the region they're in. But it's their strength that should be feared. They're stated to be 9 times stronger than humans on average, and I haven't even gotten to their teeth yet. While you don't think about it when you consider gorilla strength, their bite force is even more powerful than a lion, measuring in at 1,300 pounds per square inch. Again, you don't think of gorillas in terms of bite force when you consider their raw power, but that just shows that they have more ways to kill you. Imagine an angry gorilla like King Kong coming at you. Wait, King Kong is real, right? Number 6. Bull shark. Everyone has their favorite shark, but when it comes down to science and stats, there's an unofficial competition going on to determine what kind of shark is the most deadly. There are 2 top contenders based on their attacks on both wildlife and humanity: the bull shark and the great white. The bull shark is the most aggressive shark in the water, believe it or not. They have a history of unprovoked attacks on humans and the highest fatality rate in those attacks. Plus, due to them looking like certain other species of sharks, their attacks could be more than is recorded. Yet what makes them monstrous is their temperament. in which they don't have one. They are known to go off at the slightest tease, which is why they are so prone to attack people. And when they do attack, they come to bite hard. They have a bite strength of 1,350 pounds per square inch, making it perfect for ripping prey to pieces without much effort. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, shouldn't the great white shark have the greatest bite power? That's a natural assumption, but it's not proven. A computer model once said they have over 4,000 pounds per square inch of bite strength, but that wasn't a definitive number. The bull shark has been tested for its bite strength, and thus, it's here. Number 5. Jaguar. The big cats of the world are often rated by size, and not exactly their precise strength. For example, I bet you were expecting the lion to be on this list because it's the king of the jungle. But in truth, its bite force is only 650 pounds per square inch. A big cat that is much more deadly in bite force is the jaguar, known for being a stealthy and vicious predator. Jaguars are often confused with leopards, but the difference is that leopards don't exist in the Western Hemisphere. Jaguars are larger and heavier, and that helps make them an apex predator in places like the Amazon where they live. Jaguars are one of the best ambush predators out there. They like to walk paths and other areas quietly as they stalk their prey, then burst in with incredible speed, hit them in their blind spot, and take down their victims in as few moves as possible. Jaguars have incredible bite strength as noted, as they're able to bite down with 1,500 pounds per square inch. Ironically though, jaguars are considered one of the least likely big cats to hunt and kill humans. They have instincts that tell them to flee when they see humans, and most times they only attack people if threatened, wounded, or if they infringe on their territory. So while that might seem like comfort, you likely still wouldn't want to risk it if you ever encounter one, because if they do bite you, you have no chance. Number 4. Hippopotamus. When people talk about hippos, many think of them as lazy, big ol' cutie potatoes. They're pictured lying in rivers and other bodies of water, not really doing that much, but in truth, they are some of the most dangerous animals you'll find on the planet. If you were to go where they live in Africa, the people of the region would tell you why you need to fear them. First and foremost, they are known to be incredibly unpredictable. They'll attack loyal friends and even humans who think they've tamed them, like one South African man who had a hippo as a pet, and then it turned on him. There are also several cases of river tours being disrupted by hippos, despite them not being disturbed in the slightest. They'll rush out and attack anyone they perceive as a threat. Despite their massive frames, hippos are known to reach speeds of over 20 miles per hour. They have been known to rush human encampments and basically start a stampede at times if they feel threatened. In terms of their bite strength, they're able to put 1,800 pounds per square inch on their victims, and they've been documented as literally biting people in half. So yeah, hippos are interesting creatures to look at, but you wouldn't want to get too close, else they might bite you into oblivion. Number 3. American alligator. Many confuse alligators and crocodiles together, but in truth, they're very different and often have different abilities compared to the other. In regards to bite strength, the top alligator is that of the American alligator. Found in the US, this creature has a bite force of 2,125 pounds per square inch. The catch, though, is that while they have that force, their teeth aren't ones that are known for tearing and ripping. It's more like they use the bite force to hold their foe in place while they kill it in another way, like drowning them. Though it can break a turtle shell or a large mammal bone, this is another animal where you shouldn't even risk trying to get a picture. Number 2. Saltwater crocodile. Currently the largest crocodile in the world, the saltwater crocodile is a beast of a creature. They're known to get over 20 feet in length and have enough girth that it requires sometimes dozens of people to move them if they don't want to be moved, which I'm sure they never do. But with that also comes incredible bite strength. The croc can produce 3,750 pounds per square inch of bite force. This truly makes it one of the most deadly creatures in the world. Number 1. Nile crocodile. Known as the largest freshwater predator in Africa, the Nile crocodile is one that has gotten attention for being a premier apex predator and having a bite force that puts all other animals to shame. For example, if we were to assume that the great white shark has 4,000 pounds per square inch of bite force, the Nile crocodile still has it beat, as it has 5,000 pounds per square inch of bite strength. That is not the kind of number you would expect from this creature, but there it is. The Nile crocodile is known to be a man-eater and has killed hundreds, if not thousands, of humans every year. so anyone in regions where it lives is in danger, and that's a fact. Thanks for watching. What did you think of these animals who have some insanely powerful bites? Do you know any other powerful bite that should be on this list? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!